It's a pleasure to welcome you all to these conversations on something important in AI field. I'm Ransford and I'm founder at PeerBooking. I've been working on AI systems for a while now, and I've seen firsthand the issues when it comes to trying to get output from different AI models. All right, so over the past 3 years, we've witnessed one of the, fastest technological shift in history, and you can attest to that. And AI has evolved from something we experimented with into something many of us rely on daily, every day. So, like for writing, for coding, designing, researching, creating businesses, and many other decisions, they are all, everyone is relying on AI. So, but then the issue is, despite these incredible advances, one important question remains, and that's what we are looking at today. Can we really trust a single AI model with everything? And that is the question that we are handling today. So every model has strengths, every model has weaknesses. Some reason exceptionally well. I mean, you've heard of DeepSeek, you've heard of GPT, you've heard of Claude, and many other models. Some are faster, some are cheaper, some hallucinate less in certain domains. And then when it comes to that, mainly we talk about healthcare context, how AI models hallucinate over there. Others perform better with coding, vision, multilingual task, or structured reasoning. So as AI becomes deeply integrated into healthcare, education, finance, engineering, and research, reliability becomes far more important than novelty, right? So today's discussion explores a powerful idea. Okay, the idea is that perhaps the future isn't choosing the best AI model, or perhaps it's learning how multiple models can work together to produce more trustworthy intelligence. So that is the um, idea we're going to explore today. So our discussion is divided into three parts. So when we get there, we've structured it in three parts. The first asks why relying on a single model eventually becomes limiting. And the second explores how organizations are architecting intelligence systems that coordinate multiple AI models. And then finally, we will look ahead and discuss what this means for students, startups, researchers, and builders, including how platforms like PeerBooking can leverage these new paradigms. So rather than thinking about AI as a single assistant, we will think about AI as an ecosystem of specialized collaborators. Okay, so I'm very glad to welcome two distinguished guests here. I've had the honor to, talk to them, at least discuss with them about some important issues like Jesse and then Dickson. So Dickson is a CEO at ALLE-AI. So if not heard of ALLE-AI, ALLE-AI kind of combines and then get output from multiple um, AI models, multiple AI systems like generative models. So on ALLE-AI, we'll have access to output from different AI models, and you can compare and then look at the best model. I think that's the fundamental explanation of what ALLE-AI does. So we will look more into that as we move on. Jesse um, is a community builder, is a software engineer working in ML space, and currently leading the Java user group in Ghana, Accra. Then he's also a software engineer at Wewire currently. So he's been building in fintech space. So that means that we have one person who has actually built on multiple generative models. So it means that we got the right person over here. So I'm very glad to welcome Dickson Agyei and then Jesse Murah to this session. Hi, Dickson. Hi, Jesse.
Hi,
Hi,
Ransford. Thank you. Jesse
Awesome.
guy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
So,
no, 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 you start. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm so glad to have you on this call.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe Dixon, if you could tell us about your journey so far and then building all AI, because I think this is the proof of the exact topic we are dealing with tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. So, everyone, hi, my name is Dickson. And as Ransford said, yes, I lead a team at ALLE-AI. And ALLE-AI, what we've literally built is building on top of multiple AI models, bringing multiple generative AI models together for users to use them simultaneously, compare and combine them. We actually combine them with our own assembly method. I think maybe if time permits, I will go deep into that. But literally, you talk to Claude, GPT, Mistral, Gemini, and all these models simultaneously, and you can spot discrepancies. So the technical term for that is hallucinations. So these models can hallucinate. So you with using them by using them simultaneously, you can actually spot these differences and actually spot similarities as well. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. There's
Awesome.
more, but yeah, that's what we do.
Awesome. That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, I've tried it before. I've used it before for image generations and other use cases. So, Jesse, can you tell us about your work at Rewire and also the Java user group? Any other thing you do?
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening. Thanks to you, Ransford, and the team at PeerBooking for having me. In short, I'll just explain what we do as a business and yeah, what I currently work on. So, we were as a B2B cross-border payment platforms. So think of you as a business. You have suppliers outside Ghana, and you want to be able to move the processes and process get faster. WeWire is the best platform to be able to move your money. And for me, what I've worked at WeWire so far is mainly on uh, making sure that our payment systems or the infrastructure that we currently ensure money is being moved on time and secure are actually on point.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So, I'm glad to have you here once again. So, we will just dive into the main topic for today. So, as I said, it's structured in three parts. So, we will start with the first part, which is basically talking about the why. So the limitation of a single model. So I would ask you some specific questions and then share ideas based on the background that you're coming from. Why you think there are limits to the single models that you run currently. So I think I'll start with Dixon. So could you, I mean, all AI is built on a premise of choice, as you mentioned earlier. So, what is the biggest trust gap you see when developers or companies rely solely on one model for their entire stack?
Uh, yeah, I think I didn't get a question, but then I can read it. So, what's the biggest trust gap you see developers or companies rely solely? Oh, okay. So, you risk being like misled. Okay, so if you use a single AI model, one of the biggest risks, like you can be lied to without knowing. So, if you're asking the model about something you don't know about, it can confidently lie to you. So we're actually working on something aside, bringing a multiple models together to detect these discrepancies. We're actually making a single model, we're giving the ability to a single model for the model to let you know how sure it is when it's giving you an answer. So using a single model, yeah, you risk being lied to. And probably I'll talk about the latter part data where we review something we call certainty scores attached to model responses. So later in the conversation. So
Awesome,
yeah,
awesome. So it's basically more about the infrastructure and making sure it doesn't lie. So it's the risk of being lied to is the
yep,
main thing that you talked about here. So
yeah,
yes, Dixon will share more about this infrastructure that they are building to solve these kind of um, trust gaps when it comes to working with just a single stack. So
model. Yeah, right.
yeah. So Jesse, from a software engineering perspective, I mean, let's say at Rewire, what are the specific technical failures in terms of hallucinations, latency, cost that force you to look beyond a single provider?
Yeah, okay. Give me a sec.
All right.
Hello, Ransford, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, great, great. So, for Wewire, specifically, we normally use, for us, as a culture at the company, we normally use these tools as an aid to be able to do your work. And so you have a tool that can be able to make your work faster, but then you need to understand what you are trying to do. Or else, if you just leave your conclusion to what the AI has suggested to you, and then it becomes an issue. Now, talking about the failures, talking about the failures, hallucination is the major thing a lot, because for me, when we are working on systems that the model doesn't give like a clear answer to it, or let me put it this way, then the model doesn't understand what you're trying to do. Then if you are not if you don't structure your prompt in a way that it can be able to get context on what you are trying to say, then that's where it will confidently lie to you. But if you don't, as I said, if you don't have domain knowledge on what you are working on, it's going to really affect you. And in a space where you are dealing with people's money, trust me, you don't want a mistake like that to happen. In terms of cost, yes, are we are more stressed on the cost aspect, because we yes, now AI is becoming good, but the question you need to ask yourself is, can your company afford to, or can the company afford or risk their time and their money and their resource to go in for an expensive model that, what at the end you come back and realize that no, we didn't architect our AI strategy or plan in this particular way. And that's what we are currently doing right now. So to actually find ways to be able to see how best we can leverage the use of AI in our products, apart from we using it as employees.
Awesome. So Jesse basically looked at the AI applications and how they are able to structure the AI usage across the development process life cycle. So you talked about the hallucinations. So if you don't know how hallucinations, basically maybe AI exaggerating on some stuff. That's, I think, best way to explain it. AI exaggerating on some stuff, right? So it's not a bug, or it's not an issue. It just it's just a phenomenon. So you just have to mitigate it, find ways to mitigate it. So you can't solve hallucinations. You just try to find infrastructural, pathways to reduce hallucinations. And so most um, one way to maybe do that is look beyond a single provider. Maybe GPT might nullify the hallucination effects from Claude. So all these combinations might reduce the level of hallucination that you get. And in terms of cost, Jesse tackled it from the fintech perspective, because so far as you're handling fintech organizations or companies, so far as you're building stuff, you look at the scalability. If you are running beyond the budget that you set yourself, meaning that you're going to run down, right? So all these are very important when it comes to software engineering perspective. And I think Jesse has done justice to that. So moving on to the next question. Um, Dixon, so we talk about trustworthy intelligence. And that's, I think, fundamental concept behind all AI. So is it
Yep.
possible for a single model to be trustworthy enough for high stakes environments? Or is redundancy the only way forward?
So my answer to that, I think yes, it's possible, and that's what I said I'll mention in the final part of the conversation. I'll just do it now. You also mentioned there are many ways to mitigate hallucinations, and one way is going the way of like redundancy, using multiple models, which is actually expensive. So one way for a single model to be trustworthy enough is for the model to actually communicate how sure it is for any response. So you ask the model, hey, what's photosynthesis? And then a model just gives you response and attaches something like, I'm sure, I'm not sure, I'm speculating, I'm very confident. I'm this, that, I'm that. So that's one way we are like all AI are thinking of approaching the single model trustworthy situation. And so yes, it's possible, honestly. And users don't want noise. So from experience, the user just came for an answer, came for a solution to their problem. You don't have to bombard them with a lot of things. And so one thing we've done at all AI is the model, yeah, you can still use multiple models, but you can actually merge them into one. The ensembling method, right, we spoke about. So you can have
Yeah.
GPT, Claude, Gemini, but then they'll come together to form one response. And how that single response is formed is that it takes all the similarities, if it's they're all saying the same thing, it mentions it once, and then the differences are are kind of stacked up and then revealed to the user. So yes, it's possible.
Awesome, awesome. I mean that's the best solution. I think all AI is building what we actually need for trustworthy intelligence, and the use case across different fields is very enormous. So I big ups to that. So
Thanks.
I'll just move on to. You've done justice to this, so I don't have to talk a lot about that. So the next question I'll talk we will talk about is with respect to the how. The next set of questions will be on the how, the building the example. So the example method here is basically kind of getting out, combining outputs from different approaches, as Dickson said. So then how do we do that? We've we've actually realized that okay, multiple generative models would be better for trustworthy intelligence compared to single models. Then how do we build it? So that's what you're going to look at in this phase. So we are running this referral program. So if you want to maybe get access to Dickson or Jesse or anyone, any coach on PeerBooking, we are running $20 um, discount. We are giving out voucher code, $20 voucher code. So you can sign up to peerbooking.live, go to your profile, and then you see a refer button. Or you can also go to your profile in the list of items, the menu there, you see refer. You get your referral link and then refer up to 10 people to sign up, and then at least 3 coaches to sign up. So out of the 10, maybe 3 will become coaches to run services on PeerBooking. When you are done, take a screenshot and share to the form below. So you can scan this QR code to fill after referring the 10 people and then getting the 3 coaches. Yeah, so that's kind of a promo for you guys, especially if you want to meet Dixon, Jesse, or anyone from PeerBooking. Yeah. All right. So 5 counts, then we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So the next question will be on, the how. So Jesse, okay, let me start from Jesse. When you're architecting a system that uses multiple models, how do you decide which model speaks for a specific task? Is it about cost, speed, or accuracy? So Jesse will take then Dixon to add up.
Okay. Okay. So very interesting question. So now that we are looking at how reliable or how we trust the model's outputs, for me, what I normally do is I mostly use workflows from people. So, for example, if I want to brainstorm a new task that has been given to me, unless I understand the task clearly and I don't want to have like back and forth with my manager, I just set up a document that states what I understood from this task. What questions do I need to clarify from the one who gave me the task, and then how how do I solve the problem? So from the software engineering perspective, your main goal is to solve the problem. And as I mentioned earlier, in my first submission, your role is to be able to use these tools to arrive at what you want. So, for example, if you are told to do A, B, C. If you don't have domain knowledge of A, B, C, or if you don't have knowledge on A, B, C, it is up to you to go and do your research. You don't rely on a model which has a black box. It's a black box on its own to feed you with the answers to these models. And so for how you can architect your system, you know that for each model, one is good at doing something better than the other model. So everyone, for example, everybody knows that Claude is good at writing code than the other models like GPT. Yeah, no shade. Yeah, no shades to like GPT
All
and
right.
Gemini. And Gemini is also good at creating images and all. So you look at what you want to what so the point is, what is your end goal? What are you trying to achieve? Once you identify that, then you now come back to how these three things will actually go, which is your cost, the speed and the accuracy. For me, I always want to stress on the cost, because you can't tell me that, yeah, you want to start something and you want to go for a model that is expensive for a smaller tax. No, I mean, if you have the money, if you have the money, it's a different case. But you can also explore the Chinese models, which they are also good, but they rely on a different model architecture called mixture of experts. Yeah, so that is one thing that is giving them that edge over the other models that are
Awesome.
also on the market. Yeah. So for
Awesome.
architecting
Awesome.
your system, you have to look at what model would be ideal for situation for whatever you're working on. How much are you willing to invest, or how much are you willing to put in to actually architect these models, and how accurate are your answers, how accurate is was the model's output going to give to you? Because at
Awesome.
the end, it is not it is not it is not the model that is going to answer questions to your users that are using your product if you are building. It is about how you are able to mitigate the rate at which these models hallucinate, and that is why context is very important.
Awesome. That's amazing. I think it was very brief and then quite brief, and then I appreciate how you tackle it in different um, facets. So I think Dixon would add up to this particular thing from the all AI architecture. Yeah.
Yep. So thank you. Actually, Jesse has done justice to that. So very little for me to say. So yes, when you say cost, speed, accuracy, so ideally the cost should go down, speed should go up. So if we're selecting models, we select the one with the least costs and high speed. For accuracy, I will kind of push back a little because um you need a benchmark for something to call something very accurate or not accurate, and that's actually very difficult sometimes. So that's why it's very hard. It's really hard in normal like human interactions. Right or wrong is there's always a question mark attached to it. Some people think something's right, some people think something's wrong. I can give you a clear example. So if you ask the model that this is a little controversial, but then if you ask the model, is it right for a man to marry a man? And in the US, I think it's quite okay. But then if you come to places like let's say China or Ghana, or let's just use Ghana. If you ask the model the same question, they will all come up. Oh yeah. So that they are all saying yes, and in one context it's kind of accurate, in the other it's not accurate. So accuracy needs like a benchmark, and it's some way it's part of what makes the
Yeah.
world difficult. So yes,
Exactly. Of course, accuracy needs a benchmark. And I mean, that's someone's full-time startup trying to work on various benchmarks for,
wow.
yeah, model outputs. So, I think thank you very much for such a wonderful response. So, you've seen many teams try to move to a multimodal approach. Right. So, what is the most common mistake they make when trying to orchestrate between, say, Gemini, GPT-4, and Claude. I think Dickson will handle this for us.
Okay, so this I'll be a bit biased. So the mistake they make is they don't use all AI. They open multiple tabs and do everything manually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and that's why all AI is here. so, so guys, if you really want to feel the experience of all AI, you can go to alle-AI.com. We will,
Sweet.
I mean, we will show you some of their stuff here. But then I think the mistake that they do is they open multiple tabs. So please
Yeah.
try and get all on one platform.
Sweet.
So we are fast moving. So we've been talking technical, right? So I want us to look at the end user benefits. So how does the end user benefit from this? Should they even know that multiple models are working in the background, or should the trust be invisible? I mean, especially in legal context. So what do you think about this, Jesse?
Yes, so I thank you very much. So I believe when you're working on product I'm working on product I'm using so when you're working on products like what Dickson has out there, super platform, all AI. Yeah, as he said, you need a benchmark to what the model is actually providing to the end user. You get it? So if you are coming up with a product, or you are using a product that somebody has worked on, like all AI, the bottom line is, in whatever field. So I'm going to use the legal aspects in this case. So what you should be able to identify or note is that each model has their own strengths and their own weaknesses. And so once you are able to identify that, you know that, oh, Gemini can do this for me, but Gemini draws back on that. And similar thing for GPT. And but the mistake we normally do when we are using these models is we do not know which model is good for this for a particular and sometimes too, I'm stressing on context because that is what the model needs to be able to give you a correct output. So if your context is so bad, yeah, expect that your output will be bad too. You understand? So at the end, I don't think the end user should know which models are working on the background, but they should. But what one thing that they should know or note is the ability to explain what they have brought to you and the reason they think it is this particular way instead of the other way. And one thing I will share with all of us in the call is when we are using these models, try when you identify what models will work for you. Try, especially if you are brainstorming an idea or you are researching on something that you don't know. Try to use the Socratic thinking or Socratic method. So what that means is, in general, Socratic method or Socratic thinking is you are just trying to have a dialogue with someone, but you want to do it in an argument way. So you are going back and forth with so and that helps a lot because, as I said, the model needs context to be able to give you a correct output. Not let me say I'm putting correct in quote because sometimes they can decide to hallucinate. So use a Socratic thinking, and then from different output from different models, you can judge on which one you should go for.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so I think this also all about all AI because I mean
Yeah.
the recent update that you just talked about with respect to getting the combined output, so you feel like it's just one model working. That
Wait.
that solves the issues for different contexts, different use
Okay.
cases. Because, for example, legal cases, you would want to, maybe to back your claims, you would want to know how each of them performed. So that if you are giving out the output, okay, this said this said that, you make references to the various models. But there'll be a case where the person is just interested in the output, like what is photosynthesis example you gave. I only need to know what a photosynthesis is from the best model. I don't have to get different. I mean, it's just 5 minutes. I've done last minute learning, and I want the answer to chew. So in that case, it's not now that you come and give me Gemini, give me this. No, I only need the best answer. And so combining all these, and I don't need to, the architecture is not important to me, or like the multiple models working in the background, visible is not important to me. So in that case, I
Exactly.
prefer that it's invisible. But then in some cases, I would want to see that, hey, this is Gemini's output, this is Claude's output, and that. So I think that is a very good approach handling various use cases. So we're getting to the last phase of the session, and the last phase is going to look at the future. So we've handled the why, the limitations of using a single model, and then we've looked at the how we orchestrate models, how in terms of architectural pipelines and all. Now we're looking at the last phase, which is the future, how we can implement the how in the real use cases using peer booking as a typical example. So if you want to win a free voucher to access Dickson, Jesse, or anyone at PeerBooking or any coach on PeerBooking, this is what you have to do. Sign up to peerbooking.live, go to your profile, click on the refer button, you get a referral link, and then refer 10 people to sign up and at least 3 coaches to sign up. Take a screenshot and share to the form by scanning the QR code here. So when we're done, we share the referral program to your email so that you can get access to the process and then also scan the QR codes. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining to this far. These are the few sets of questions to end this session. I think there are 2 questions. So with at peer booking, what you are basically doing is professionalized how peers learn. So I mean, I'm hungry, someone knows. I'm hungry, but I know something. I can 3D model stuff. Someone there doesn't really understand much about 3D model, but there's something a taxi has to complete. I can provide that. The normal way is just, hey, can you teach me, blah, blah, blah. But all these people I need, how do we bridge that? And that's why peer booking came. So we just professionalize peer expertise and also make it easier for peers to discover help on campus. Probably the best person to help is in different college. You don't know unless you ask people, unless you ask WhatsApp. So the process is fragmented, and this makes it quite easier. Currently, campus based, you're looking for it to scale up to other um, use cases. So I want to ask, maybe from your perspective and how you've perceived peer working so far, how can students and young experts use multimodal AI to augment their own mentorship services without losing their personal touch? I think I'd like to acknowledge the presence of someone. Say I am acknowledging you because you worked around mentorship some time ago. So um, my question is: so how can student and young experts use multimodal AI to augment their own mentorship services without losing their personal touch? I don't know if the question is clear. Let me start from Dixon.
Okay. So yeah, it's not that clear, but like I'm gonna answer the way I get it. So yeah, somewhat nice to see you. Uh, we're actually doing multimodal AI right here. If you look at it, you're asking Jesse, you're asking me. So we're both sharing ideas. If you look at it, if we're AI models, that's literally all AI right now.
Yeah.
So for mentorship, I think they can do the same. So I don't know if like AI models on peer booking or it's like AI models in general. Is Can you guide me?
Yeah, so currently peer booking runs on algorithms like AI for auto as in matching, so like mentorship, matching
Okay,
the
okay,
mentors to
sorry.
mentees. Yeah.
So yeah, kind of like utilize multiple models for that. Okay, that's good. So without losing the personal touch, if there's no human in the loop, the personal touch will be lost. So ideally, whatever you do, I think you should just add the human in the loop, either the mentors themselves or the students interacting with themselves. Students can probably even peer mentor themselves, like as peers, so like they'll be doing it themselves. So yes, I think adding the human touch will be what will kind of make you not lose the personal touch. So yeah, that's how I get it. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So maybe yeah, I don't have to say it publicly, but I'll reach out to someone say for that. But I want us to take it in this perspective. Like people tend to gem, like they create gems on Gemini, right? To for coaching. Hey, I want you to be my coding tutor. Act like this. Now, let's assume all AI has that feature. That's now we can create gem, you can create Claude project, you can create GPT,
Yeah,
custom
we
GPT.
have projects. Yeah, on all that.
Awesome. So now let's say gem is running on Gemini, GPT is
Okay.
running on um, custom GPT running on GPT. What's the name? Claude project running on Claude. Now I want it to be a coach. I want it to mentor me. So I orchestrate the all this model together as a mentor. And that's what we are looking at in this question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So so how do you think now they can only go to Gem for coaching. So now we are looking at um Gem can be a better coach. Human beings can be a better coach, as you said. So bringing them together, what are some things that you recommend? Talking from the all AI perspective. Yeah.
Okay, so you can literally use the architecture ALLE-AI is using. So on ALLE-AI right now, when you create a project with your title, with your context, add your files, and you add multiple models. Okay, so if it's Gemini, if it's on the Gems, you're saying just Gemini. If it's on Claude, just Claude. If it's on GPT, just GPT 5.5 or something. But then on ALLE-AI, you have the same like the same infrastructure, but with multiple AI models. So you can have something like that, like on PeerBooking, just like how we have this consider what we are doing a project. So one AI model is not enough. Is the title of the project, the context is the PDF you are sharing, and the models are myself and then Jesse, and then you are the middleman. So all we have a middleman, a middle model we fine tune to do all the magic. So you are that, and the audience is the users. So I think you can just replicate that infrastructure on PeerBooking.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. So I think this is going to be the last question for our session. So if I'll start from Jesse, like very short answer, then come to Dixon. So if you could only use two models for the rest of 2026, which two would you pick to ensure the highest trust in your output?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll also be biased here. Do I have to state my reasons?
No, okay, not really. Oh, you just give a one-line justifications.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. GPT is out. Yeah. I don't. It's been a year since I used GPT. I have my personal beef with them, but that was just like the way. So the two models that I use like currently on the go are Claude and Gemini. So the reason for Claude, they both are, yeah, for Claude, when it comes to complex stuff, I use Claude a lot, and as I said, you have to in having context, make sure that your model, like what you want to work on, has context. You have to use a Socratic thinking or Socratic method. And for Gemini, I use Gemini. I mostly like I use Gemini because, yes, who has data more than Google? I mean, so if you are researching on something that you don't want to do it manually and you want to actually, yeah, lazy way around it, yeah, Google is the best. Like Google's Gemini is the best platform that AI to use. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah. I understand you on Google, but in the sense of because of the data collection approach and stuff, I kind of trust Google data and like their outputs. because of the way they, I mean, collect their data and their entire data pipeline. Yeah, so I think I'll come to Dickson. So,
All right. So yeah, I'll also be biased, but then for me, I'll go for Claude. Yeah, for Opus 4.8. I think now
okay,
Fable is taking the lead, but then
yeah,
I have a soft spot for 4.8, mainly because of it's using Claude code. Now we're moving towards agents now, so the
yeah,
models are like now underneath, and then agents are now doing work. So
yeah,
I'll go for Claude Opus 4.8, and an open source model, DeepSeek R1. And the reason is because, well, I can literally run DeepSeek on my own PC. I can open it up, I can close it, I can change it, I
yeah.
can do whatever I want with it. So I'll go for Opus and then DeepSeek R1.
Awesome, awesome. Opus 4.8 and DeepSeek R1. I
Yep.
mean, I mean, for people like us, so like if a student want to run a model locally, I mean, these models, GPT is very big. Most of the
You can't
models
even
can't
get
run.
it.
You
Yes.
can't.
You
That's the
can
thing.
only you can only get the OSS. Yes. You can't
Yeah,
get it. They are closed source.
yeah. So I mean that's the very good justification. Thank you very much for bringing us this far. Really appreciate. So guys, we've basically looked at the reason, the limitations of using a single model. That's the why, and then we looked at how, like how you can build, I mean, multiple models. Then now we looked at the future, how you can implement it, and then some of the models that you can look at and their reasons behind them. So. Um, this is all AI, and as I mentioned, it's basically combining output from multiple models, right? So you can, if you can see the UI over here, this is just a basic prompt that I gave to it. So you have that feature to select different models. This is an image generation feature. You can have the chat one, you can also look at the audio, you can look at video and many others. Yep, so you can check out all AI as all-ai.com over there. So the link is here. You can just search this and then have a feeling of how it is. Okay. So there's a new feature on PeerBooking, that's the resources. So I mean, day in, day out, you create resources. These are resources from internal teams. So I've been, I mean, creating resources. I've been creating manual handbooks on whatever I do. So this is where we share it. So on peer booking right now, a coach can share resources validated or reviewed by the administrator. So if you're a coach now, you can share resources. It can be video, it can be um, document, PDFs, images, anything at all. So if you are just a student, you can find some of the best resources ever, like how to earn opportunities, interview prepping, videos of all the events that you've been doing. So you can see some of them, like understanding ML research session, the biggest study mistake session, reading comprehension session. We have software engineering, like any field that you find yourself, you can go to peerbooking.live/resources and you'll find some of the resources there. If you've not signed up to PeerBooking, we hope to get you on board soon because I believe this is going to be like Upwork for campuses. So if you want to run services in any field, so far as legal, you're welcome. And if you just need help with academics or any extracurricular stuff, PeerBooking is the best platform for you. We want to get you as an indirect marketing agency. Please help us to market this out there for people to see how peer-to-peer learning also helps a lot to succeed. So you can book a tutor now, and then as usual, as I've mentioned earlier, if you want to access Dickson or Jesse or any coach on peer booking, you can do that by this referral steps. Go to your profile, you see refer, copy your link, send to people, then share the proof to this form and get access. All right, so in just 1 to 2 minutes, if you have any questions, you can bring it up so that we handle that diligently before we end this session. All right. Okay, any questions? All right. Um, Good. Thank you very much. So this conversation reminds us that intelligence alone is no longer enough. I mean, the next generation of AI isn't simply about building larger models. It's about building systems that are more reliable, more transparent, more resilient, and then ultimately more worthy of our trust. Yes, so today's discussion has shown us that a trustworthy intelligence is not created by a single breakthrough. It's created through a lot of things in the pipeline: engineering, careful design, recognizing that different models can complement one another rather than compete. Thank you to our guests, Dickson and Jesse, for sharing your insights and experience. And then thank you to everyone here for joining us. We hope today's discussion inspires you to build AI systems that are not only intelligent but trustworthy. We look forward to seeing you on our next episode of our peer booking sessions. I wish you all the best. Bye.
Sweet. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.